Ladies and gentlemen, spies and pyros, welcome to Nine and Out, episode 4, A New Hope. Tonight's I'm joined with TurboCop, TMP, Kip, our season caster, Getaway, DJ. TurboCop, start us off with some stats.
Hey, all right, okay. So week 3 happened. Didn't count invitational stats this time, and I'm just gonna go down the all-star list for you, best in class for everyone this time around. So best scout this week was ET's Decimate, scoring a big old whopping 64 points. Bobby outscored every other soldier on the map for UBS, scoring 83 points. That's 13 points better than the next up, which is huge. Pyro was Johnny. Johnny scored 102, 30 points above TMP at 76. Oh, that's actually 26 points. Yeah, who is that? You got second though, TMP.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah. Deadbolt was the leader for Demoman over on GC, and Arthur was as well. So 2-team there. Evel again, he's the first guy to get the top score for engineer, and he's done it 2 weeks in a row now. Over on ET, yeah, on Evel, Evil, is it Evil?
That's Evil.
Evil.
Yeah, it's 2 L's.
He's played with Satan, so he's got to be evil, right?
Yeah, it's hard to say though.
Satan.
Blue actually made top medic score though for the entire week over on Stag Party, and Tech and Rainy both on Team DRS took the assassination class best in show. So might be one of the reasons they ended up winning last night. We'll see though.
Thanks.
So TM,
Okay.
Good.
what is there you could possibly say about the great 3-letter terror TMP? Been playing how long now? You said.
I've basically been playing since 2011, or 2000. Yeah, summer 2011, I'd say. That sounds right. Maybe it's 2010. I can't remember. One of those two.
Okay, but how long had you been playing before you got in competitive?
Before I got in competitive, I would say I started playing in 2009, June 2009. That sounds right. Or 2008, whatever the year after TF2 was released. I can't remember.
So you came right with Pyro update. So
yeah, right
did
around the
you say
Pyro.
it was Destiny?
I didn't play Pyro until like a year and a half after I started playing TF2. I actually started out as engineer, and yeah, I only built level 1 sentry guns, and I ran pistol. So I was basically playing gunslinger engineer way before gunslinger.
You're cutting out there a little bit.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
What amazing thing were you going to say about engineers? Sorry, repeat it.
I basically was just playing with level 1 sentries and running around and shotgunning people.
Oh.
So
Okay.
gunslinger engineer. Yeah, exactly.
Hipster. Before school.
Yeah,
Nice.
exactly.
Very nice.
Oh, someone has a good question. What does TMP even mean? Like, where does that name
We
even come
touched
from?
on that on a cast me and Duder did, but you can say it.
Yeah, okay. A lot of people get this wrong. Thing is, it initially stood for the magic potato. That's what it initially stood for. Now, whenever I think of it, it doesn't really have much meaning. So I let whoever the hell want come up with a meaning do that. I sometimes use the master pyro, but in its roots, it's still the magic potato. And I hear a lot of people say the master potato and stuff like that, and that's just wrong.
We got talented main of pyro. I like that.
Yeah,
Actually.
yeah,
That's a good one.
yeah. It
I
is.
like
I think Huck calls me that. My team soldier.
Talented domain of Pyro. How does that even work in comms when he needs you to like go kill a spy immediately? He calls you talented main of Pyro, and then he's dead.
No, I don't even know. They typically don't call for me whenever it comes to being spies, so they just call me TMP, I guess. It's a lot quicker, that's for sure. If they were to go say talented main pyro the entire time, that would just take way too long.
They would have to shorten that to something even more obnoxious, and that would be hard to do too.
Yeah, exactly.
Cool. Well, we can talk. We're going to talk more about your history in the game and the class and stuff. Why don't we talk about the week that we just had in Highlander? A lot of stuff happened this week.
Oh,
Super
no,
big
Almost
week
too
for
much.
Kip over here.
My brain was
Super
sore
big.
from watching it all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kip, do you want to talk about it?
Yeah, I'd love to. One of the big things was the Team Fortress.tv Highlander Invitational organized by Hildreth, sponsored by Team Fortress TV. And TMP, I want to ask more about you because you did a great write-up along with Hildreth and Mustard Overlord about it. And then I was fortunate enough to cast it with Ryushi all on Sunday, and the VOD should be up. I'm going to have to annoy people about that. But absolutely insanity. Some of the most close games I've ever casted, and it was a lot of fun. I won't ruin all the games for you just in case you are going to go back and watch those VODs, but basically DRS upsets GC And ET upset GC, Gentlemen's Club. So Gentlemen's Club wasn't even in the finals. And the finals was between ET, Electric Temptations, and DRS, and went to 3 rounds. And you guys have to check it out. So anyway, TMP, you played. What were your thoughts on the whole competition? Just first being organized, and then second how it played out.
I'm really glad it was organized the way it was. It really made for a lot better of a tournament situation. It made things a lot more competitive, the way how we eliminated maps and all that stuff. I thought that was great. I kind of wish UGC did that sometimes, but I understand. They want to get more maps to play, and that's perfectly fine. But it definitely offered a lot of strategy in terms of picking that kind of stuff, and and it could show because certain teams, DRS, the big one, could pick their strong maps and that kind of stuff. Like DRS never had to play Lakeside, and that showed.
Yeah.
But
the whole reason for it was to raise funds for the UGC prize pool drive, right? And in the end, I just did the math. Oh, what did I say? $268 were raised in the course of, I think, a 6-7 hour stream. I don't know, what is your reaction? What are the Plat players kind of thinking about this fundraiser drive now that it's kind of hit its peak and now it's on the decline? Because this was really supposed to be a big jump for the funds, but didn't happen.
I haven't exactly talked too much with other Plat players about like the prize money and that kind of stuff. I can talk about what I personally think. I think that's kind of a small amount. I thought it'd get a little bit more than that. I thought 500 plus, honestly. But I'm not going to be winning the prize anyway, so I wasn't too concerned.
Oh, come on.
Whoa.
You've got
Come on,
something there.
think of it. Maybe if we sing more
Defeatist.
Aladdin songs, we got to sing more Aladdin, and we'll raise a ton of money. That worked out.
Yeah, definitely. You
That was
guys
one
raised a lot of
thing.
money doing that.
If you guys didn't see it, the people sang a whole new world.
Look at the
We'll see
VODs.
who.
They will be. XTV will have the VODs, right?
So moving on, then we had Monday some great matches on Upward. Tell us about your match versus DRS.
All right, that was the closest match of the week. Probably of all the other matches didn't look so good. The match against DRS, I would say the best way to describe it was we get picked a lot by the sniper, but our sniper does okay, so that's fine. And pretty much just across the board, we kind of get slightly outclassed, except for our demo man. And that just kind of makes it to where they win a little bit quicker. Second round, Mustard Overlord had like 200 ping the entire time. It was really, I know he had trouble there. He mentioned it a lot. He's going to say that's why he lost. I don't think that's why they lost that round. I think we just outplayed him that round. Even if Mustard Overlord had high ping, I don't think he was like the driving force on their team that game. He did a lot, but he wasn't quite, I don't know. It's not like he was on Lakeside, if you looked at that log and that kind of stuff, where he was obviously the driving force. Specifically, he did a lot of work, but it wasn't quite huge. I think I would have to say Tech was probably their driving force, is who I would say. Tech and Tix, but that's just my thought.
They're good.
No kidding.
Yeah.
Did you have fun at least? Was it?
Oh
fun?
yeah, I had a lot of fun.
You always have fun, right?
I typically always have fun on Upward. Well, this week I didn't have much fun, but during the match I did. The match was really fun. I got to do a lot of just surprise attacks and that kind of stuff. If you don't know my style, it's I'll get in the face of the combo at random times basically, and just kill like the demo man for no reason, and I got that a lot. So it was really fun to do that, and I think it was a good team to do that against too. It was just a lot of fun. Since it was so close, there was just that constant bit of thrill to it, you know? It's not like...
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, I was just going to say, it's not like if it was a complete blowout, which I didn't think it would be. I thought it was going to be 2-1 regardless if we won or lost, but I mean, that was being optimistic in my mind.
It was
It's really
within
cool
90
that we
seconds
have
every time, like within a minute or so, wasn't it? Every round.
Oh yeah, it was really close each time.
That's sick.
I was really shocked about that too. Definitely, for us attacking, like we had about a minute left in round 2 whenever we had capped. And it was incredibly stressful. We were just, I don't even think we had Uber up at that point. We had to do a dry push and it somehow worked. But for the most part, it would always be somewhere around like a minute 30 or 2 minutes. They'd break our hole in the upstairs. And then we would just scramble and try to hold on as long as we could. And it ended up lasting about 30 seconds to a minute. And we just ended up giving it up. And it just, DRS is good at their offense, I'll say that for sure.
Well, it is kind of cool that there's like, I don't think I know anyone who doesn't like Upward. I think every
love it.
Every player likes Upward.
Upward Week
Digital
is like
players like
Christmas.
Upward. Every Platinum player likes Upward. It's like pretty much the best, I don't know, payload map right now.
I would say Upward's the best map in Highlander. That's my personal opinion.
Period. Just period.
Yeah, just period.
It is a really good map. If it would be all right with you for a sec, I just wanted to go over the other scores of the week for
That's
Platinum
fine.
over here. Yeah, so Gentleman's Club comes back with a vengeance against DK for 2-0 against them. However, DK didn't run their normal demo. They ran Frostfire instead.
Actually,
so-
Crossfire is the normal demo.
Oh, who was their sub from last week? It was a different guy.
I don't remember
Messiah?
who their sub was. No, that was Messiah. Messiah plays on UBS.
Oh,
But
yeah,
they were
it's a
running a
demo.
sub last. They were running a sub last week against us. Yeah, Frostfire is a normal demo, man.
Sysops versus ET. ET takes it out, but
Psyops.
ET's Psyops. Do I always say Sysops?
Psyops! Psyops! Go, go, go. I'm a cheerleader, by the way.
Mm.
Over to YouTube.
It's well known that they like Upward though, right? So this is kind of like home turf
Oh
for them.
yeah,
Okay,
ET's
2-0?
really going upward.
Yeah.
That puts them at either 2-1 or 3-0, one of the two. They're
It puts
sitting-
ET at 3-0.
ET is 3-0. Psyops 2-1.
A wicked start.
It's kind of a sleepy match too. I had to cast that one on XTV, and it's kind of seemed like both teams were a bit hungover from the Sunday match. I know I was. That was a joke. I
who
wasn't
else is-
drinking. I was sober entire time.
Just your
we
casting
also
style
had the,
coded all the time.
Murder Force versus MTS, and Star actually subbed in for Sigafu that game.
Yeah.
And,
Which is interesting.
Yeah, he did all calling Star out here, but he did well, comparably well. But they ended up losing 2-0 anyway, so Murder Force is
He's not
not
used to
something that
playing
they-
engineer. It's not really his. He played
not like
great
it.
for a guy who doesn't play NG barely ever and always MGEs and plays sixes. You know, he's a super skilled guy. But if any of us jumped in on engineer in a
Yeah.
a plat match, what can you do?
Yeah, and then it was UBS versus Blunderful, and UBS, not to be mean, but they kicked the teeth in of BFL like pretty hard.
Wow.
Yeah,
Teeth, eh?
yeah. I think I didn't check the logs. I didn't check the VOD, but the logs seem to imply that they get like a 4-point 12-minute cap, and then BFL doesn't capture the first point for 12 minutes. But
Wow.
I could have read the logs. Yeah,
BFL.
yeah. They're not sitting well at all. 0-3, I think. And no
yeah,
one's got.
awesome people on the
hasn't
team,
got a
but-
single win.
Yeah.
I don't think BFL has actually got a single round actually. So
Do they need to
Yeah.
just rebuild, overhaul that team, or what? That's what I'm kind of thinking. Great people on the team, but they're having struggles big time. Not to get off
Super
on a
struggles.
tangent.
Super big struggles on their side.
We'll have to
yeah,
get
I'm
on
not sure.
the show.
They don't have any real crazy good players on their roster, and you just kind of have to have that nowadays in Platinum. You can't get away with having players that you had back in season 8 or season 6 and that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Just having the same strength, you're just not going to do good in that case.
Yep, gotta have all stars every single. Even GC, they were shown they were vulnerable this week, losing 2 games. They were in official games, but they lost 2 games, and they're a team of all stars, right? So,
Mhm.
Yeah.
let's see.
So speaking
So,
of season 6 and season 8, do you want to talk a bit about yourself now, TMP? A lot of people know who you are, but some people might not.
All right, that's a
Talk
good thing.
about some history. Then you have your pyro thing on. Show that a little bit.
Yeah.
All right,
People can see the thing
this
you're
is
wearing.
a pyro sweater. I got it
Yeah.
from the Valve store for Christmas.
That's wicked,
yeah.
right?
Mm-hmm.
Sick.
It's really nice.
Yeah, Kip's
But-
got on her engineer shirt too.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
It's
see that
homemade
badge.
though.
All right, but yeah, you want to you want me to
Yeah,
talk
yeah.
about this? Okay,
Yeah,
all right, that's pretty
it's
simple.
TMP time.
All right, so I basically started playing back in I'd say season 4 for a team called MFU. MFU was silver level, I would say. Entry level, that's fine. They wanted me because I had a reputation of being a good pyro, and that was my first introduction to Highlander. I mean, before that, I turned down the opportunity to play on the team that was called Super Saiyan Swagger, and it was in the
Good name.
ETF. It was in the ETF to a Highlander tournament, and they actually went on to go the farthest, alongside with whatever team Don Newman was on that one. Those 2 teams got the farthest out of any North American team in that tournament, something like round of 32 or round of 16. So I guess you could say it was one of the best North American teams at the time, but I turned it down. Beyond season 4, I went on to 10 team for a little bit. The first big team I joined though was Gunrunners back in season 5. that was one of the stronger teams in Platinum, and they just knew me because I had a lot of powerful. Someone's saying they can't hear me in chat. Can you
Yeah,
guys
I
hear
saw
me?
that too. But I was like, we all can hear you just fine. They should be able to hear you too. It's probably
Okay.
them.
Okay, that's weird.
Yeah, it's just that dude. He forgot to turn his bar from the left to the top on the channel, and he just thinks it's you.
Okay, all right. Anyways, so what's going on with Gunrunners is that I finished the season with them and almost get kicked off the team because I'm very hostile towards them, basically.
Really?
Easiest way to put it. I didn't mesh with them at all. I played way too aggressively back then, playing basically solo on the flank, and I just yelled at everyone the entire time. And and then season 6, I joined the Syndicate for the first time, but some things happened that season. I had a real rage complex that continued on, and case in point, at some point during the middle of the season, we faced, I think it was Inglorious Broadcasters, or whatever the team was. Huey Lewis was on the team, I remember that, and I just broke down, quit the scrim, and like I had a moment where I tried to commit suicide because of TF2.
Damn.
And it was, note to self, if you ever get into TF2, don't rage to the point of that. Like, try to keep your emotions out of the game as much as you can, because I didn't know that, and that was a very bad decision on my part. Luckily, things are better now. But since then, after that, I joined a team called No Love Lost, which was a Steel team that ended up winning Steel that season because it was basically a bunch of plat players on alt accounts. Not even gonna lie. So I skipped season 7. Season 8, I joined the Syndicate again. I don't know why they let me back on, honestly, but whatever. And that season we won Platinum. And my rage issues weren't still fixed, but I was winning all the time, so it didn't matter then. And after that, because of some rocky relationship with some of the members, like Hein, for instance, I thought Hein was the type of person who'd be talking behind my back, because I thought he did that about Polk. And I'm really self-conscious about myself. I tend to think I'm always doing terrible in TF2. So I always tend to think that everyone else thinks I'm doing terrible. So at that point, it just became too stressful for me thinking about some of the stuff on the team. So I ended up quitting for that and joining with Quality Control in season 9. We ended up going on, placing about 5th, a gold move-up team, and that was really impressive.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
it
then-
can be stressful. Just to kind of jump in, but all the workload and just playing all the time. And we spoke a bit about it with Huey Lewis, but when you're playing Highlander and you're scrimming, 5, 6, 7 times a week, and you're doing that for most of the year, that can get really draining, can't it?
Oh,
you really
yeah.
need to take seasons off here and there,
Oh yeah, definitely. Normally I take the summer season off though, and that's typically what I do. Or I go and I join like a gold team, like I did season 10 as Soldier, and just completely do nothing. Just have a lot of fun, even though I'm on the worst team in gold and that kind of stuff. And so that's why I did season 10. Season 11, I did absolutely nothing. Just was out of the scene entirely. And then now I'm back with Stag Party.
Cool.
So you were talking about your rage issues a little, and you seem to imply that they're better at this now. Like you went through a lot of stuff, and you're handling it better.
Well, a lot of it is because I'll be completely open here. I'm on medication now for bipolar disorder, which I got diagnosed after the suicide incident, and that has helped me out a lot. Valen actually helped me out a lot in terms of my rage issues as well. Whenever I was on the Syndicate, he helped clear it up a lot. So by the time season 9 kicked around, I basically never raged. The rage issues have recently been popping up a little bit. With Stag Party, I've been raging somewhat, but that's honestly, that's all my fault. That's because like I hadn't been taking my medications those days, and that's just a bad idea generally. So.
No, I'm right there with you. If you look at like my TF2 center like completion rate, it's like something like 80% of the games I like actively complete. So like I'm a total rager too. Like I'll just like leave a game, but I don't have a good strategy for like, okay, so something's going wrong. How do you like get out of the game and like say, oh, this is all right, I can keep playing and it'll be all right? Because you can't just like leave the scrim.
Yeah, no,
like I don't have that luxury.
Yeah, I don't leave scrims anymore. Last time I did that was season 6 with the Syndicate, and that's basically why I ended up quitting that team. But the big thing is, I do a lot of music manipulation now. Music affects my moods a lot, so I'll listen to really calming or upbeat music to help shift my moods around.
That's cool.
Interesting.
That's cool.
One thing I want to hear about, how'd you end up with Stag Party? What led to that? Because obviously you were away, and some players, if they're new to the Highlander scene, they don't know about you, but as they've just heard, you have a big, long history, and you've done so much. How'd that come to be?
That's a good question. I decided to come back in Season 12 because I felt like I had more time, and I really wanted to come back in Platinum because I feel like it's kind of a disgrace for me to be in anything else. I really want to be at the top level because I feel like I can perform well at the top level. So I ended up putting out a looking thread and telling people I was looking in Platinum and that kind of stuff. And for the most part, the first team that contacted me was Stag Party, saying they wanted to be in Platinum. And I scrimmed with them a few times. I wasn't entirely sure because I didn't know if they'd actually be in Platinum. They were kind of like a 6-4 gold team moving up. And I mean, can you really say that they'll be Platinum? UGC admins may not put them there. So I was kind of skeptical. But as time went on, basically I got no other offers from Platinum teams. And I mean, that's not too surprising. I don't have the best reputation amongst Platinum players. Typically they think I'm too aggressive and like, I do have that rage issue and emotional things, and that obviously goes around as my history. So I can't really say that I have the best reputation whenever it comes to Platinum. But beyond that, I got offers from gold teams. People thought I'd be playing on what's now Steve C Gaming, but I was thinking about going through with that. Then I realized that, and I'll be perfectly frank here, half the people on that team are complete scumbags, and I did.
I was gonna say something like that, but I wasn't sure if I could say it on stream.
Yeah, oh, no, that's fine. I'm willing to say that kind of stuff. But basically, like, Findy's a scammer. You know, I think he impersonated himself as Stabby once and got someone to give him a strange weapon, where he then ran away with it. Yeah. So I didn't want to be associated with those kind of people, even though I would really like some of the people on that team, like Soap. Soap is one of my favorite guys in TF2, but it's just, I can't be associated with a lot of those people. I can't really have my reputation personally as a player be sullied by that. So I ended up going with Stag Party because they were basically my only option, and I'm really glad I did.
Yeah, they're a great team, obviously, and too. So what's it like now? This isn't a new team. This isn't a new group of people that you came together with. This is a team that played last season in basically the same form. What is that like coming onto a team that already exists and already has that chemistry? What's it like mixing in and trying to join an existing team?
Well, typically, what I like to do is I like to see if I can adapt my style into that team, and luckily it kind of works out. The team is naturally really aggressive, so pairing an aggressive pyro with that works out really well. They have a really good heavy in Tiny, and Tiny can spy check and do all that kind of stuff, and he can also deal out damage, so he can kind of take turns and do all that kind of stuff that's really great. And basically, I got really lucky, is the way I'm going to phrase it, that we just have such an aggressive lineup generally. And it's kind of shifted that way too with our changes in roster, because we have done some drastic changes. We changed our medic entirely from the old leader of the team to a guy named Blue now, who is just, he's really good on medic.
Nice.
He plays really well with an aggressive style. The only thing is he's not really used to the Highlander medic, so he tends to like get stabbed a lot compared to normal.
I got a real quick shout out to Boomhauer and Scratchy, because I got in contact with them like my first week of casting, and then they've like been sending me games like ever since then. So thanks, you guys. You guys are awesome.
Yeah, I really do respect Boomhauer, even though we kind of mercilessly kicked him off the team. I respect him a lot as a person. It's just I don't know. I'm sorry we had to do that, but we just want to remain competitive, and it just, since the team kind of fell apart whenever we had some trouble with them, we just reformed without them. That's kind of what happened.
Yeah, being a team leader too, in the past, I've had to make some of those tough calls. Even like you like them really, really well, and they do well, but you want to do better, and you want to go into another division or stay in a high division, and you sometimes have to make those tough calls.
Yeah.
So you're kind of go for it.
You go for it. It's a cool team.
Go for it.
Let's talk about some changes and some stuff that you want to talk about. Valve keeps changing weapons, don't they? And one of them they changed was the reserve shooter. And I bet people will want to hear you talk about the reserve shooter, because you analyze all that stuff, and you're a smart dude when it comes to.
Oh yeah,
stuff. I think.
Oh, definitely. I'm gonna say I'm really smart with loadouts because I almost have a loadout for almost every pyro secondary that you can imagine. Magmelter, there's no turbine left in the game anymore, so I don't have one for that anymore. But honestly, my opinion on the reserve shooter is there are like two situations where it kind of matters. The first one applies to 99.9% of pyros using it, or that could use it, and it's not really that much better with its buff now than it was in the past. You're still going to get the same number of shots off, pretty much. Even if you have that extra bullet, it just kind of gives you a little bit more staying power. It gives you a little bit more ability to just... I'm trying to think of the best way to describe it, but it's a little bit more reliable now because it was kind of an unreliable secondary initially. You kind of had to really play correctly with it to get it to play right, and it was generally not worth the effort unless you were using it like to use it specifically for the knockback, like how I did on Badwater. Like for me, reserve shooter didn't change at all. Basically, I'm playing it the same style. I'm doing the exact same stuff. It's not really benefiting me at all. But
Some
I feel
people
like,
say it's too good, though. Some people say it's like the short circuit change. It's
oh
way
no, it's
overpowered.
not. It's nothing like that. The extra crit time is like completely useless on Pyro. Your 5 seconds is no different from 3 seconds on Pyro, and the extra bullet just, I mean, it lets you do a little bit more shotgun primary stuff if you want, but it's still not as good as the shotgun for that. And the shotgun, basically, you can do similar things with reserve shooter and shotgun anyways. The only situation is if you have a pyro like Hard Ass Johnny or one of the past like Death Kit, who are just insanely good with the shotgun and do a lot of air blasts in the shotgun. That's like the only situation where it's like, whoa, this is a lot better. And that's just because these guys can really go and use all 4 shots. And they can stay alive for the 4 shots and just completely destroy teams. Like, I'm scared. I don't want to see Hard Ass Johnny run it. That would be the scariest thing in Platinum for me, is seeing that guy run that weapon. But for the most part, I don't really see any of the people who ran reserve shooter before are probably not going to get too much benefit out of it, I would say. It's just, I would feel like it's a quality of life change is a word that I use for it.
Quality of life change?
Mm-hmm.
I don't understand what that means.
Okay, yeah, that's just like, I watched a lot of League of Legends, and they say that about whenever they do a buff that's just to make it a little bit more convenient to play something rather than like something to drastically make something better. Like a quality of life change is something like reducing the cooldown on something. It's just something that makes it feel a little bit better. That's all I can say. But reserve shooter, that's talking pyros. It's a lot better for Soldier now than it was, but I don't see people running it on Soldier and Highlander, so.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like anything you do with Soldier are going to make them do anything but run the gunboats. There's been a lot of changes for them, but it hasn't been really exciting for them yet. Yeah, we'll see.
So say I am a pyro just starting in entry-level iron. Would you recommend any situation, and it's just an example, would you recommend any type of situation in which I should run the reserve shooter now as opposed to before?
Now as opposed to before, I would say I would more recommend it in situations that you would be somewhat inclined to use it, but kind of unsure. I would say like on Badwater, for instance, on holding first points, if you're kind of unsure about using it to like keep people off the cliff before, I would definitely run it now because the extra bullet just kind of gives you a lot more freedom, I would say. There's not too many other situations I can think of. I guess if the enemy pyro is shutting you down a lot and you are trying to get into the face of the combo or something like that, which if you're iron, I really don't think you should be doing in the first place. But if you're really good at pyro and you're an iron and you just can't get in the face of the combo because the enemy pyro is air blasting you around and doing all that kind of stuff, then I would probably advocate using reserve shooting in that kind of situation because you may be able to get more stuff out of it and that kind of thing. The enemy pyro will definitely hate you. And I guess the last situation where I recommend it now is if the enemy is using Babyface Blaster, because it's just hilarious against Babyface Blaster. I'm not gonna lie. It's probably the funniest thing if you can do that, because, I mean, it's a free shot on them, and they just They die to it. It kills scouts. Babyface blaster scouts are annoying, so it's just really fun to shut them down with it.
Nice.
Oh yeah, if you air blast them, if you air blast a scout off the ground, do they lose their first jump and they have to do their second jump?
Yeah, they'd have to do.
Yeah.
They would have to do that. And also, the air blast always does it in a set pattern. It restricts it and moves you back at a certain pace, so they can't for 1.5 seconds start doing strafing to get out of that. So you really have a lot of power to actually hit the shot.
Yeah, so they'd have to jump and then screw over their speed, and then they'd still be really screwed because you can do tons of damage to them.
Yeah, exactly. Because Reserve Shooter is hilarious against them.
That is pretty awesome.
Maybe we can talk a bit about the next week's map and playstyle on that map from a pyro
Yeah.
perspective.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, I was just conferring with Cold. You got the map pulled up, right, man?
I'm all loaded up.
Sweet. So, this is the first time in Highlander we have run this map ever. I'm pretty sure in UGC. Old Asheville, now new cold plant. Some people are not happy. Some people are a-okay. Don't see what the big problem is, but that's pretty standard, right?
Mm-hmm.
You like it, right, TMP? You like new cold plant.
Yeah, I like new cold plant a lot. From a mapper's perspective, there's one thing I don't like about it, and that's just the general layout is it would be a nightmare to optimize, which is why its FPS is so low. Basically, you can see a lot of the map from any given location, and then just Asheville has these little things to it that I don't know if the mapper intended, but they actually cut things that determine whether you can render areas or not. And Asheville, the way how it has its connectors laid out, doesn't really have that as much. So
Yep. It's hard to optimize. I've heard that too, yeah. Just the way the map is.
yeah, exactly.
Okay, so I'm on a delay here, so I don't know if Cold has it pulled up yet, but
Yeah,
you
I
ready
have
to
pulled
go,
up,
Cold?
yeah.
Sweet.
I'm looking at mid right now.
Okay.
I'm looking at blue from mid. I'll just try and follow your voice as best I can.
Alright, well, I'll load it up so I got an idea where you are too.
Okay.
Sweet. So, callouts are important. If I'm new to the game, actually, if you're new to Cold Plant, which I kind of am, I've only played Cold Plant 2 times, to be honest. I haven't played it that much yet. Played Asheville a lot though. What do I need to know that's different, from this to Asheville, and what are the new callouts?
Okay, I would say the callouts are basically the same. The general layout is very similar, so you could probably get away with using the same callouts that you use there. I'm not really a guy who depends much on callouts, so I generally say stuff like left, right, underneath point, on bats, that kind of stuff for Asheville anyway, so I wouldn't really change too much about that. There are some big changes to Cold Plant. You'll see the little sniper blocking ridges there, right in the middle with those wooden planks. That kind of, the way they're located, that kind of helps shut down snipers on the battlements. At least
Cool.
That is, which I don't know if that's a good or bad thing in Highlander. I haven't played too much scrims on this map. I've just kind of done a few centers, so I can't really tell too much. I mean, personally, the less sniper prevalence, the better, in my opinion. Sniper has it way too easy this season in Highlander. Every map is sniper favored except for this one, I would say.
Year of the Sniper.
So who does this favor then, this whole map, entirely?
Definitely scouts is what I would say. That's probably the biggest thing. If you look inside the connector, that goes in the middle, that has the doorways, door going to middle, the left path and the right path, whatnot, the bats. It's
Sure,
easy.
from your spawn?
Yeah, exactly. It's
Okay.
so easy compared to Asheville to rotate in this building from one side to the other.
Yeah.
And you can do it so much quicker. So as a scout, what you can actually do is you can go behind the enemy's lines really quickly and then just instantly rotate on the enemy sniper and that kind of stuff. Compared to Asheville, where it will take 5 to 10 seconds at least to get from one door to battle, from the left door to battlements. It takes probably about 3 seconds on this map comparatively. So it's a lot quicker, and there's a lot more pressure there and whatnot. The map's also somewhat constricted horizontally compared to Asheville, but I don't see that's a big deal.
Did they shrink it down a little bit or something?
Yeah, it's shrunk down slightly on a horizontal axis, and I think maybe on maybe from going from spawn to center as well a little bit.
I don't know. I'm on the left side of red spawn, and it's like really wide over to the left. And then as you come into the main connector room that connects, both main door right and left. Yeah, that's pretty wide over there.
Yeah,
they moved up the health and med kit too on the right side.
Yeah, they did. I'm mostly talking specifically about like the middle area.
My apologies.
Oh, it's fine. Don't worry about that.
But as a mapper, what grade do you give it? Do they have a good concept? Is it good that they're tweaking it and keeping it? Is it worth keeping in rotation, do you think?
I would say
How many stars is it?
Yeah.
I would put this still at like 3.5 stars. Like Asheville is definitely an interesting map. I think Coal Plant is basically Asheville. I don't think it's too much of an improvement. I don't think it's too much worse. So like I think it like in terms of casting specifically, I think Coal Plant's way better than Asheville. Asheville is an ugly as hell map if you look at it from an artistic standpoint. It doesn't fit the TF2 theme at all, and it's just horrendous looking.
Wait, how is Coal Plant any different?
Well, Coal Plant is kind of more like the harbor style. It's
Okay.
Yeah, that's how I would describe it. From a thematic standpoint, it has a lot more things that you would see normally in TF2 than these big brick walls on the interior and exterior with no wooden supports. Like you see wooden supports all over the place in this map to help give it a little bit more identity.
Like Foundry a little bit.
Yeah, exactly. Foundry. Whenever I say harbor theme, I mean Foundry. I'm sorry, that's like mapper talking because all the files for Foundry are called like CP Harbor. So
Okay.
yeah.
What's it like to
Yeah,
play?
it's like-
You're a player. You're a mapper and a player. So tell us about playing it.
All right. From what I've played of it, which hasn't been really platinum level, I mean, I would say I like it. It feels a lot like Asheville to me, except it's a little bit less safe on the middle area. Like, for instance, on Asheville, what I would do often is I'd run out the center door, and then I'd immediately take a right to go check down below. And I feel like on this map, that would just basically get me sniped or spammed at by anyone who came out middle door as well. Like in Asheville, you had the little pathway that you could take if that kind of situation took out. That was just really protected, but you don't have that in this map, so... I think it's definitely a lot more unforgiving of a map than Asheville, though, for most Highlander classes. Like, Gunslinger Engineer used to have this really good spot on Asheville that got removed on Coal Plant. It was like over by, if you're looking at the point, it's over on your left side behind it. It was just this little prop. I think it was like a barrel or something. You could stick a mini sentry like behind it and that kind of stuff, and it could still shoot over it or something. It was really obnoxious. Also, as a heavy, there was this crate that you could shoot over on the middle that a lot of heavies are complaining that they have no cover on this center now because they really don't anymore. So.
Yeah, I remember that every game was the heavy setting up on the corner and then shooting over the crate that doesn't look like you can shoot over it from third person view.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
So I think it's definitely weaker for heavies, engineers. I think it's a little bit better for snipers because you can kind of snipe from both exits, or from both the left and the right area. Although sniping from battlements is a little bit weaker. As Pyro, I like it a lot more, except for the fact that there's no ammo basically on middle. Even though it has like two medium ammo kits and 2 smaller ones, that's just they're being picked up all the time, and it's just really hard to actually keep your ammo at this point. So that's the one thing I don't like about it, honestly.
I remember Asheville was hugely soldier based, so a lot of the times, every time a soldier would bomb, a lot of the time they would get a 2K or even a 3K and win the round outright.
Yeah, you'll probably see a lot of this on Coal Plant too.
Okay. They didn't lower the ceiling or anything like that.
I
The
think
gravel entrance is like slower, it's like more sloped, and that was what people would get tripped on, is they'd come in with the side of the cover, and then soldier would just jump over the top and spam them down, and they had a hard time getting out. It's like more open now, so maybe not.
Yeah, I think the ceiling also in the middle is just slightly lower, but it's not going to stop anyone from jumping.
I have a question. So you're a mapper, and people talk about the maps a lot in UGC. It feels like we need more maps. If you had to commission, 20 new maps to be made for UGC, should they be Koth maps like this one, like Coal Plant? Is it the way to go, or should they be PL maps? opinion.
All right, between those two modes, I think you really want kind of both for Highlander, just because this season kind of showcases it. You kind of want teams to have a lot of separate skill bases, and kind of want to like have certain teams be able to upset teams and everything. So I would try to, if I were to have a distribution, I'd say 8 KOF maps and 12 payload maps, honestly. But I mean, I can't think of making 8 unique payload or 8 unique KOF maps. That's just crazy. Or 8 unique KOF maps that would work in Highlander without people just getting completely upset because they're just too crazy. I mean, there's no way you could actually get away with that. I think even 12 payload maps. I think that honestly there are probably enough maps in UGC already. And
You think there's enough, really?
Really?
Some people say there's not enough maps, and there's not enough to choose from, and that's the problem.
There's always someone complaining about the map.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter what it is.
That is not true. That is false.
sometimes-
No one complains.
I mean, I think there's enough maps in UGC. I just don't think they're in like the highest quality maps. So I think that making maps for Highlander would be okay. But honestly, my opinion on that is that it's an utter nightmare to make maps for Highlander. It's almost like 6's but worse, I would say. You have to take in a lot more consideration into a map with Highlander because you have to worry about the Wrangler. You have to worry about, like, really worrying about good engineers in the map is just so crazy. And people will complain if something's really good for engineer. And the thing is, like, they'll complain about stuff in a custom map that is using a Valve map. Like, I will use as an example Badwater Third, which is, in my opinion, the worst thing to push into in all of TF2, and in Highlander specifically. Because you've got this nasty sentry sideline with an engineer protected from the sniper, and then you've got this Uber that is reliably pushed up in front of it. So, I mean, it's like worse than Barn Blitz last kind of thing. You only have like 2 ways. You have like 2 or 3 ways to go into that. Like,
Careful, you're gonna upset the chat.
No. I don't care if I upset the chat on this. We defended against Gentleman's Club for 3 minutes on Badwater 3, which kind of says that Badwater 3 is really easy to defend because Gentleman's Club really, they should have just rolled through that against Stag Party. But, like, specifically, it's really hard to just do that because there's so much to take into consideration. And the Wrangler just completely changes things. And you have the Rescue Ranger now, which lets the engineer retreat well, which is just so much like that. You have, I'm trying to think, Pyros compared to 6s. You have to think of things for Pyros and how they can actually be useful or maybe not useful in certain ways. Heavies want cover and that kind of stuff, or else they're going to complain. Snipers are a constant threat in Highlander, so you have to be careful about your sight lines, which also takes into account Wrangler. But you don't want things to be too close either, because then it's just too choky, and then the Demo Man can get you too much, or it's too wide, and then Scouts just overrun you because they can rush up to your faces too much. There is just way too much to take into consideration in terms of that, and the community is so picky about that kind of stuff too that it's just it's a nightmare.
Again, not true. No one's picky.
Then what are your thoughts about Borneo, especially it being included in the regular season than this Highlander season?
And be aware that Valen's in the Twitch chat right now.
That's fine, though.
Right now.
That's fine. I haven't played the most recent version of Borneo, so I can't really comment too much about it. I would have to play more recent versions. I think Borneo plays a lot like other payload maps, and I kind of don't like that. I think that if we're designing a payload map for Highlander, it should be kind of unique feeling. But that's just my thought. It feels like a kind of a rehash of Badwater in a sense, except like some things are a little bit better. That's my thing.
You and Valen should work together on a map. What do you think of that?
Yeah, I would pay money to see that.
Get
You
ready
guys
together.
stream it for me too, so I can watch you argue about it.
I generally don't have the motivation to finish maps, so that's my biggest problem. Maybe that will work out sometime. Maybe after the current TF2 Maps on that competition. I'm kind of working on something for that. So,
Ooh.
Would you
Kinda.
be in my reality TV show where we get 8 mappers and 8 competitive players together in a house together?
that would be fun.
And whoever survives gets a key.
Right, a stamp of their own map.
It's called the Bachelor
How about
TF2.
they get their Mac included? TF2.
What are your thoughts about Swiftwater? Because Swiftwater is one of those maps that was specifically designed for Highlander in mind, and especially UGC in mind. It's one of those maps that's played every single season because of this.
Yeah.
So good map, you like it?
Well, I can't say I like Swiftwater. I think it's kind of getting old at this point. It's
Yeah.
it's really defensible. The thing I like about it, though, is that it's a unique payload map for sure. I mean, no other payload map out there plays like it, and it feels. I wouldn't say it feels good. I mean, I like the way the last point is, but there's that obvious just problem with the fourth point that everyone has. It's just.
Oh,
it's
you're
just-
anti-tree too?
Yeah. No, I'm anti that entire point. I personally don't like situations where you have only 2 entrances into a map. I only count 2 entrances there because you can actually pay attention to both entrances if you know what you're doing. Those being like, and they're being right next to each other, right going through that choke and then the cliff right behind it.
Mhm.
Those are really the only 2 entrances. And personally, mappers tend to go by the 2.5 rule, which is that they have 2.5 routes into a certain area. And first off, that's not 2.5 routes, that's only 2. And then those 2 routes are right next to each other. So you can kind of even consider it as 1 route because you can still spam it from that. They're not wide enough away where anything can happen to really differentiate them in certain situations. So it's just like a sniper can watch both, and that's really bad. And the sniper sightlines that make it to where he can actually do that. So it's that fourth point is just bad. They need to like for that map. I think that the fourth point needs to be redesigned entirely. But I don't know how they would do that to actually keep the 5th point. But
Valen saying 1.5 routes in
Yeah.
chat.
yeah,
I
there's
enjoyed the
basically
Valen.
1.5 routes. That's basically it. It's really not well designed in that regard.
What else we want to touch on, gang?
I have just a quick question. How big is the TF2 mapping community?
It used to be larger. I don't know. There's a decent number of mappers. I can't remember how many people entered the last competition that TF2 Maps on that did. I would say it was around 20, and it was a 72-hour mapping competition. So
Wow.
there are a decent number of mappers out there, and I mean the numbers aren't exactly growing too much, and they're kind of shrinking a little bit. Like 2 years ago, there were a lot more mappers. It felt like, but you know, I don't know. It's not too bad. It's not unbearable situation. It's just they're not. I don't feel like they're releasing too many good maps. So there's not that real drive to do it.
Valen was talking about this last week, and he had a really good idea, which is that you really do need to put comp players with mappers and then have them work together. And because comp players kind of know, like they have an idea of what they want, they just don't know how to do it, and the mappers know how to do it, but they don't know what people want sometimes. At least for those 2 communities, they don't talk enough either. So it'd be a really good integration tool. Like
Should
you
bring
should
together.
know how many mappers there are. You know, you're so into the competitive scene, yet we don't know. So
Yeah, the only issue I have with that is like I'll just name off maps that have had similar situations. Swiftwater, Arctic, Borneo. Those 3 maps probably you can take a general consensus, and no one likes those maps. Like for instance, I was the guy who talked a lot with Hans whenever he was making Arctic. I thought Arctic was a great map personally. I really like Arctic. I feel like it's a better viaduct. That's how I feel it.
I like Arctic too.
Yeah. But Arctic, in my opinion, got played with the badness of having the Beggar's Bazooka, everyone realizing that was super good, and then just being a nightmare. Plus, having the dreaded snow curse, where everyone suddenly drops like 50 frames because it's snow. Something like that.
yeah, that's the pain.
Okay.
But yeah, I don't think you need one mapper on anything because or one competitive player with each map because each competitive player has their own personal things that they like and dislike.
Well, that's not quite what I meant. I mean, like, so like there'll
do you mean
definitely
like having
be
a lot
input from everyone, right? But just like Valen's idea was just have this guy has the competitive player as the like as the manager of the map, and he makes sure the like what complaints that come in are valid, that the mapper hears about, and that they're actually balancing the things people are actually responding to, and then the mapper's job is to just provide them appropriately, I guess.
Yeah, I would say that's probably a good idea. Basically, what Valen does with Borneo. I think the only issue is you also introduce a little bit of bias by that guy or by the manager. I think it's basically impossible to eliminate the bias of him thinking certain ideas are good and bad. I know that personally because whenever people give me feedback on my maps, I basically do the managing of that, and I'm just like, that's a terrible idea or that's a great idea. And all that kind of stuff is there's gonna be that natural bias. And I think that's I think that what Valen's suggestion is good. I just don't think it's perfect.
I think we're coming up on our hour here.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're
That
wrapping
time
up real
again.
quick. So you know what time it is, everybody.
Secret talent time.
Oh god.
Talent time. So,
Sacrifice your talent to the TF2 gods.
That's what everyone tunes in for.
What is it?
Excellent harvest.
Yeah. What are you gonna do for us today, Mr. Magic Potato?
Oh, you guys, I'm gonna put it this way. I basically have no talent because I have the worst luck possible. I tried to get the one talent I knew that I could probably do was solving a Rubik's Cube, but I lost my Rubik's Cube, and the place I went to buy a Rubik's Cube at ended up being sold out. So instead, I had to come up with
Sold
something
out
else.
Rubik's Cubes.
Yeah,
We needed a rain check then.
Terrible.
I want to see that.
yeah, but
Rubik's Cube store burned down.
Yeah, I'll do that later on stream amount of time. But so
That'd be
basically,
cool.
there's something else I'm okay at. I'm not gonna say I'm great at it, but I would say don't hand me your credit cards because I typically can memorize numbers pretty well. At least I don't know, numbers that have significance to me. I definitely do. Like I almost memorized my psychiatrist NIP number for some reason. I don't remember why. But I don't know. I'm decent at memorizing numbers, so I think we're gonna do something where I look at. We talked about this already somewhat, and I'm gonna try to memorize as many numbers out of 100 digits as possible, and then I'm gonna recite them blindfolded.
Ooh.
Ooh, blindfolded.
Yeah, I'm gonna guess I make it to like 15 or 20. So, yeah.
So do we have
Well-
it, and we'll post it, and then have you blindfold it up so that chat can play along? There's a delay, I guess, but still.
Chat can
Yeah,
go
it's
along
fine.
with it.
we're gonna give you time to
is
read it.
down, but Research Randomizer is up. So I know.
Random.org must have burned down. They must have that in
I was
the,
just
in the
using it
Rubik's
earlier.
history.
They must, burn down in a mysterious fire.
Wow. Someone's hitting all the cool places.
Knowing my luck, I'll get to like number 5 because
There may
like
be
I'll
it.
forgetting one number right there.
We
That's
believe in you,
probably-
TMP.
That's probably what's gonna happen.
The world is watching. TF2 Outpost has millions of people here now watching live on stream.
Watching me remember numbers is oh god.
There's no pressure. It's all fun here. It's all fun on 9 and Out.
Yeah.
So we're just getting some numbers.
Yeah.
You know, I
Okay.
could probably make up 15 numbers.
Yeah, but
I'll-
you
I'll
wouldn't be
just
right
start-
in it.
Start
Okay.
typing them.
There we go.
All right, hold up.
Here we go.
Got to find out how to open that real quick. Oh, here it
Little
is.
put
button
them in
on the left
chat,
side of
too.
Skype. Yeah, and here we go,
And
chat.
six-
And you ready? Because I got my stopwatch pulled out.
Okay.
So we're gonna time and give him time to read them all and
It-
memorize them, and then yeah.
You get
Okay.
90 seconds. How about
Okay.
that?
90?
Alright.
All right.
Just tell me when to start going.
Okay, ready when you are. 3,
Okay.
2, 1, go. 5 seconds.
This for the stream.
Kip, you're distracting him.
It's for the stream.
Maybe he muted us. While he's
No, I
doing
didn't. I didn't meet you guys. And 16, 69, 61. I'm gonna mess up on the 6 digit. I can tell you that right now.
this. I can already tell you're definitely going to do that.
4, 9, 3, 8.
45-second mark.
My brain. This is gonna be terrible.
Don't worry, you've got a few seconds left.
That's fine.
5, 4,
Oh boy.
1.
Time's up.
Okay, time's up.
All right.
So for all of
Let's
you
see.
playing
Hold
at
on.
home,
All right,
put your
let's see if
handy
I-
dandy blindfold on.
Let's see if I can get 12.
See if you can beat TMP's match.
Oh god, I just forgot the first 4 numbers.
Oh
Shit.
no, you're screwed. Screwed.
Alright, okay. Okay, so. Okay, so I think the first 4 numbers are 4968, and the next 3 are 269 0 9368, and then my brain is dead for the rest. I couldn't memorize the list. I'm terrible.
I'm sorry, had a few
Pretty
of them
sure I
mixed up.
messed up on the first 3.
You got the first
No, you got
four.
the first 4 in the first 5 actually.
5.
But you mixed
Oh,
up.
did I say 269?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I told you I would mess up there. I always mess up 6s and 9s.
Oh.
I can't
much pressure.
remember them. Whatever.
We pressured him a
that's
lot, but he was telling us earlier he knows a ton of pi, which is a very long number. I
Yeah,
don't think
although-
we were talking
although
too much.
I totally have forgotten. I used to know more of pi. Whenever I tried today, I got to like digit 60 or 70. So
Yeah, that's.
Oh man, how lame.
My niece, who's 5, can do that.
That's
Also,
impressive.
if you guys think you can see through this, let me hold it up to the camera, and it
Do
will
it.
pitch black. So,
A magician never shows his tricks, TMP.
yeah.
Aw.
Well, it was
Alright,
good. You
well,
got a
we're-
lot of them anyways.
We're gonna have to
Yeah,
have you back
give
to
it
solve
an
your Rubik's Cube while
That's-
Sigafu plays ukulele and then Mustard Overlord raps.
All right. Okay. Yeah. Hopefully by
That'll
then
be our
they'll
grand
have
finals
it
episode.
stocked, so.
And
Or
Huey Lewis will
maybe-
play his French horn.
Or
Yeah.
maybe you guys can tell me a week in advance so I can order one online or something
Oh.
like that.
TF2
Yeah,
Go to
man.
the store. They'll build a new Rubik's Cube store in your town. I'm pretty sure they're pretty popular.
Yeah, they are. You'd think I'd be able to find one in Austin, but that's really hard apparently.
Rubik's Cube Central, they call it. It's the capital of.
That's what they called it?
I don't know.
Right. We are running out of time here, so I guess.
Yeah. You were
Um,
excellent, TMP.
Yes, thank you so much for joining us. Any last comments or shout outs or anything in general you just want to say to our viewers?
I'm gonna go ahead and give a shout out if I can. Actually, I'm gonna say one thing before I get shout outs, and that is nobody survives a TMP rush.
Nice.
Ooh.
Ooh,
Write that down.
nobody survives TMP. You need
Trademark
like some
phrase.
music to play with it next time it happens. It'll slow
Yeah,
down the
but
stream.
but anyways, I do want to give a shout out mostly to one guy or a few guys who I really like in the TF2 community. I'm going to give a shout out to a guy named Pretzel who was the heavy on quality control. Really, really awesome guy.
I love Pretzel.
Probably my favorite. Yeah, he's great.
Plays
Yeah.
well, yeah.
Yeah, it's a shame he doesn't play anymore, but I don't think he has time.
Yeah.
And
Crunchy
then
and
I'm-
salty.
Yeah, yeah. And then I'm going to give out a shout out to the single best Highlander soldier out there. He is the soldier actually for Stag Party, and I'm on record saying that he is the best Highlander soldier. His name is Huck, and he's just got immense talent. I think that's good. And I'm specifically not going to give a shout out to Argo because he wanted me to give a shout out.
Boom!
Sorry,
You
Argo.
got burnt. Burnt.
5.
Sorry, Argo.
Cool.
Alright, well, I think that pretty much wraps it up for tonight.
Yeah.
All right, great. Once again, thank you so much to TMP Pyro for the stag party. Good luck with the
TMP
rest of your
rules.
season. Yes, I think you're the best pyro we've ever had. on
Oh
here.
yeah, thank you.
Ooh.
Thank you for that compliment.
Thanks so
Better than
much.
Lewis, that's for sure.
Oh wait, I forgot we had another pyro on here. Damn it! It was
I was
supposed to
gonna
be
say.
best active player. There we go.
Ah, there you go.
Saved it.
Mm,
Saved it.
good save, Kip.
Don't hate me. But anyway, thanks so much for watching, guys. Here for OnShare and YouTube. Definitely subscribe to ComFT. That's XTV's YouTube. Definitely hit follow on Twitch.tv, XTV Esports, where you're home of all awesome TF2 Highlander and Sixes coverage too. Sometimes when you feel like it. Thanks so much for watching, guys. We'll see you here next Tuesday at 8 p.m. Eastern time.